One person is dead and 2 left with serious injuries after a head-on crash in the Heights early this morning. The Billings police investigated and closed Wicks Lane from west of Nutter Boulevard to Babcock Boulevard. According to police, a white car heading east caused a crash with a pickup truck on Wicks near Nottingham Circle. The driver fled the scene and hit another white car head-on at Wicks and Nutter. When officers arrived, they found a 16-year-old boy unconscious in the eastbound car. 2 20-year-old women were in the other white car. The driver was deceased and the passenger had serious injuries. Ambulances took the boy and the woman to the hospital. The crash is still under investigation, but police said speed, alcohol, and other factors are considered. In national news, an update tonight, a new sexual misconduct allegation is being directed at Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh. CBS's Meg Oliver reports.
Another woman has come forward with a new allegation of sexual misconduct by Brett Kavanaugh in the early 1980s. Deborah Ramirez was a Yale classmate of the Supreme Court nominee. She told The New Yorker that he exposed himself to her during a drinking game at a party. Ramirez wants the FBI to investigate her story, which Kavanaugh says did not happen. The article was published on the same day that Christine Blasey Ford learned when she will tell her story to Congress. The Senate Judiciary Committee will hold a public hearing this Thursday with Ford and Kavanaugh as its star witnesses. She claims that when they were both in high school, a drunken Kavanaugh put his hand over her mouth at a party and groped her. He has denied her accusations as well. Democratic Senator Mazie Hirono says Ford has a right to be heard without being prejudged.
She's coming forward and very bravely saying, I will tell my story. So I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that she can tell her story free of intimidation, fear.
Supporters of Kavanaugh say Ford's testimony will be weighed against the lack of other evidence.
I will do the following. Listen to Dr. Ford, compare that to everything in the record, and make a decision. This accusation is 36 years old.
The hearing will start on Thursday at 10 a.m. Meg Oliver, CBS News, New York.
Continuing with national news, Bill Cosby faces sentencing this week for drugging and sexually assaulting a woman in his home back in 2004. JERICKA DUNCAN covered the trial and will be in the courtroom when Cosby is sentenced.
81-year-old Bill Cosby is set to return to the Montgomery County Courthouse in Norristown, Pennsylvania tomorrow.
Mr. Cosby, do you have any reaction?
The man once known as America's Dad was convicted in April of drugging and molesting Andrea Constand at his Philadelphia home in 2004. Constand is a former Temple University administrator. Cosby's sentencing hearing is expected to last 2 days, with Constand likely to give a victim impact statement. Judge Stephen O'Neill could sentence Cosby to as many as 10 years in prison for each of the 3 counts he was convicted. But Cosby's lawyers are expected to plead to keep the entertainer at home because of his age and health problems. Cosby's criminal case began nearly 3 years ago at the end of 2015. The county's district attorney's office reopened the sexual assault case against Cosby just days before the statute of limitations ran out. Prosecutors charged Cosby with aggravated indecent assault for drugging and sexually assaulting Constand. At the first trial in June of 2017, dozens of Cosby's alleged victims from across the country attended in support of Constand. But after more than 50 hours of deliberations, the first jury could not reach a verdict, resulting in a mistrial. But nearly 1 year later, the second trial ended with a conviction. Over the last several years, more than 60 women have accused Bill Cosby of sexual misconduct, but Cosby insists he is innocent of all allegations. JERICKA DUNCAN, CBS News, Norristown, Pennsylvania.
Well, it's officially autumn time. Joined here now with meteorologist Connor Pregitzer. It's been pretty fall-esque today.
Fall-like, absolutely. First full day of fall for us here in Billings. We got some cooler temperature, a little sunshine, and now as the evening hours have gone along, a little bit of rain to really just round out our introduction to a new season. And as we look at our satellite and radar combo here, we got a little bit more on the doorstep. I think good chance we pick up just a few more tenths of an inch as we go across the rest of the night. Chances again of some breezy winds and a little bit of thunder and lightning possible as well. We can see with this cell some of that lightning popping up a little bit to our southwest. Now we're going to keep with this fall trend as we head into the day tomorrow. That is to say, another cooler afternoon. Temperatures getting up to right around that 60-degree mark, and the chances of some more unsettled weather coming at us tomorrow on our second full day of fall. I'm going to have more on that in the full forecast coming up here in just a little bit.
Thanks, Connor. And part of the crew of the new USS Montana came to Billings on Thursday. The U.S. Navy decommissioned the last USS Montana in 1921. Q2's David J. has more from the commander of the future submarine with the Montana name.
We are capable of depths in excess of 800 feet, speeds in excess of 25 knots. We can conduct strike missions. We can launch the Tomahawks, conduct clandestine operations, special operation forces, intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance.
Commander Michael DELANEY describes the capabilities of the Virginia-class submarine. This is video of the USS Washington. The USS Montana is under construction.
The way they build the submarines these days is if you imagine slicing them like a zucchini and then putting them all together, and that's kind of how they build our submarines. So there are a couple modules spread out across the United States right now and slowly coming together.
The commander came to Billings on Thursday along with electronic technician 2nd Class Evan Glenn from Bozeman. About 60 of the future crew of 135 have been training.
Mostly right now we're an increment of nuclear trained, a handful of officers, and then nuclear chiefs as well. I'm surrounded by some of the hardest working individuals I know. You're so engrossed in your work, out there doing your mission, that you don't even realize you're not seeing sunlight for days at a time. The submarine has the unique ability to operate forward, undetected, where surface ships and aircraft carriers cannot. There is no question on the value of a submarine to the Navy and the Department of Defense.
David J., MTN News, Billings.
David says the USS Montana is scheduled to be ready in May of 2020. Steamboat Geyser erupted for the 19th time this year in Yellowstone National Park earlier this week. Take a look. Steamboat is the world's tallest active geyser, often throwing water up to 300 feet in the air. In some years, Steamboat is more dormant than others. The longest gap in eruptions was 50 years from 1911 to 1960. This year, the geyser is very active at 19 eruptions in 2018. In comparison, only 10 eruptions occurred between the years of 2000 and 2014. And the first ever recorded instance of an eruption happening at Steamboat was in 1878. Hundreds of people came together in Helena this afternoon to help break the stigma surrounding mental illness. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian was there for the annual Montana NAMI Walk.
Despite some rain in the area, a large crowd turned out Sunday afternoon for the 15th Montana NAMI Walk. Organizers say the event has grown every year.
It shows the level of how many people in Montana care about mental illness, how many people in Montana care about providing the best services and the best care.
The walk began in Memorial Park. Participants then walked through Centennial Park and around the Carroll College campus. Caitlin Tennis has been taking part in the NAMI Walk for more than a decade. She says she's seen a big change in that time, with some of the stigma around mental illness beginning to break down.
When I was in high school struggling with mental health myself, there really wasn't anything, like no place I could really turn to get the help I need, but it has grown so much in the years since this walk has started.
Cammie Heck is Miss Montana's outstanding teen. She's seen how mental illness has affected her family, her hometown of Sydney, and the entire state. So she's spending her year as outstanding teen encouraging people to talk about it.
We need to realize that mental illness is real. It's a disease and it's not something that you can snap out of or shake off. And it's something that needs attention. It's not something you should silence or be ashamed of.
The walk not only raises awareness for mental health, it also raises revenue to continue NAMI's support programs.
NAMI Montana and our local NAMI affiliates just can't function and thrive without the NAMI Walk and our generous supporters.
Those who took part in the walk say they want to give a clear message to people facing mental health challenges.
You are not alone wherever you are in your life. Someone will be there to help.
In Helena, Jonathan Amberian, MTN News.
Thanks, Jonathan. And